Something that I've learned the older I get is that life truly is all about relationships. The relationship between the sun and the earth, between parents and children, between your neighbors, your roommates, your romantic partners, your friends. The part of me that wishes that we were taught this from an early age, how to prioritize relationships, how to communicate in a way that creates safety and prioritizes connection over being right. That would have saved me so much heartbreak. Yesterday was the solstice, and what's interesting about astrological events is that it highlights the relationship between Earth and other luminary bodies. Yesterday being the sun, relationship uh, of the sun being at its most northern point in the sky in the northern hemisphere before it starts its journey back towards the south, where it will be at the most southern point in the sky for the winter solstice in the northern hemisphere. This brings up a lot of opportunity for us to reflect on where we are in life, in the year, sort of a halfway point, um, and also in our relationships with each other. So, as many of you know or starting to learn about me, my husband and I have been through an incredibly challenging time this past year and a half. We got married in January of 2025. And pretty much as soon as the wedding bliss wore off, which was about a month after getting married, things started going downhill. There's something known as a window effect, which I learned about after the fact because I couldn't quite understand why getting married then made him the worst version of himself. But if somebody has a lot of unprocessed trauma in the back of their minds or in their psyche, a big event like getting married or having children can sort of force the window open in an apartment where there's a fire. Let's say there's a fire in the kitchen and somebody opens the window to let the smoke out, the whole place is going to go up in flames. And when I tell you that our relationship went up in flames about a month after getting married, we had been married about 8 weeks when he told me that he didn't think this was working out and he didn't want to be married anymore. At the time, it felt like a complete knife in the chest. Looking back, I realized it was self sabotage. And really, what he was saying was, I'm scared that you're not going to love me when you know the worst parts of me. And loving somebody's worst parts is the hardest part of being in a relationship. It is so easy to love somebody when they're just in the happy, floating, everything's great phase. But when it gets to sickness, mental health, grief, um, trauma, all of these things that start to come out, people's demons don't want to be loved. They want to be despised. They are used, their entire life cycle relies on being despised. And he tried his hardest to get me to despise him. And the worst parts of me started coming out in defense. Looking back, I'm ashamed of the way that I treated him in this time as well. But hearing him talk to me the way that he was talking to me in front of our 1.5-year-old daughter was really triggering for me as well. We both made mistakes. And now looking back, I realize that it was a attempt to sabotage and to destroy. There's a part of the Bible, I haven't read the Bible, but I was raised Christian, that talks about how demons prey on married couples. And it felt like that. It felt like an attempt to break us apart from like a dark shadow that moved over our family. Ultimately, he left for a few months, came back. He was in and out of these depressive clouds, even though he was going to therapy and sitting in men's circles and really trying to build a business and work on himself. Um, it all of his worst parts came back on me. I wasn't sure if we were going to make it through this time. Um, there was never violence, but there was aggression. Um, the the abuse really came in the form of mental and emotional abuse, where he threatened many times in multiple ways to end his life, to leave us, to move back to Tijuana to be with his family. Um, Many different ways where he broke my trust again and again, and derogatory ways of speaking to me and cursing at me, throwing things, breaking things, and self violence. Um, I say all this not to defame him, not to bring a bad image on his character, because he is the sweetest man, most charismatic, funny, clever, capable man. He's brilliant. I mean, I married a brilliant man. I did. All this is to say that it is a testament to the work that I had been doing in communication and in basically self development over many many years, that I was able to see this as a good person having a hard time. To quote Dr. Becky Goodall, the book Good Inside, he was a good guy having a hard time, just like my daughter, who's almost 3, is a good kid having a hard time when she's throwing a fit. Doesn't mean she's a bad kid, it just means she's having a hard time. And this is one of the things that we talk about over and over again with her, like when one of her friends hits her or throws something at her, we talk about how they're a good kid and they're having a hard time, and it doesn't take away from the fact that we care about them and that we love them. It just uh, makes it so that we either need to take a step back or we need to reevaluate how our connection, what can we do to prioritize our connection in that moment. And prioritizing our connection became the focus of our relationship. We had an awful event where we had to put our dog down, and that really broke all of our hearts because we loved our dog very, very much. But even he was feeling the instability of our house. He was already an insecure dog and he was in an insecure home. And being a pit bull, it was maybe genetic or maybe environmental, but he ended up biting somebody in such a terrible way that we chose to, unfortunately, put him to sleep. And that was just devastating for all of us. He was only 6. So we thought we had a lot more time with him. Yesterday, spreading his ashes after 3 months of sitting with this really awful decision, I realized that safety and peace are a number one priority that I will never again, ever sacrifice for our family. And in the pursuit of safety and peace, just a couple weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, Amos has found a spot just next door. He's half a block away, where he's been doing his cooking for his business. He owns a burrito stand, and we still have breakfast together every morning. We still have dinner together every morning. But this separation was really important because the violence towards himself was starting to come back, and our dog's death made it so that I promised him that I would never again sacrifice our peace and our safety in our home. Ironically, I got River during a really unsettled time in my life where I felt really unsafe, and I got him as a small puppy just a few days before COVID happened in San Francisco, And I got him for safety. And I said goodbye to him for safety so that nobody would ever feel that again. And we have been living much more peacefully and focusing on our connection with ourselves and focusing on our connection in our relationship and with our daughter. So all this to say is that forgiving the masculine is something that's not just for men or for women. This is for everybody collectively on this planet in this time. We need each other. We need each other. We need to be able to connect in a way in a time right now where things are very uncertain. We need to come back into balance. And forgiving the masculine is about forgiving all of the toxic ways that women have been made to feel unsafe, or people, not even just women, people of color, minorities, LGBTQ, of course, disabled communities, children, people who are in a lower economic status. I mean, the list can go on and on. There's a way that we as a people, working class people, have been made to feel unsafe and to be made to feel afraid as a method of control, because afraid people are easier to control. They're easier to get to do your bidding because they feel trapped and that there's no choice. I sat in Temescal last night after spreading River's ashes, and they reminded us in the Temescal, because it can get quite hot and quite dark, and they reminded us that fear and love are lenses that you can view the world. You can either view the world with fear or you can view the world with love. And so forgiving the masculine is that choice of clicking the love filter onto your eyes and seeing the good in the masculine and seeing what really means to be together and to be equal, to be in connection. This is something that has not been prioritized in this industrial age our species has been going through. We have been told to prioritize independence. We have been told to prioritize being strong and toughing it out and going it alone and being the winner, being at the top. In matriarchy, there is no top because nobody is in the front in a circle. In a circle, we prioritize the well-being of those who are the smallest or the weakest or the elders, because real leaders know that when everybody thrives, we all rise. We don't step on each other to get ahead. This has been shown time and time again, and we're seeing it right now happening in communities across the world where we're taking a decentralized approach. We're taking the pressure off of the law enforcement and the prisons and the education systems to correct. And instead of looking at behavior, we are looking at care, a care-centric model. Forgiving the masculine is about caring so much about this earth, about our planet, about humankind, that we are willing to put aside our differences, put aside the hurt and the blame that we experienced. Yes, harm has been done, real harm. Real harm has happened in my marriage, like real harm. And that is true. And what is also true is that together we are better and we are stronger. Even if he's half a block away, if that means that we can be stronger for each other and for our daughter, that's what we're doing right now. And that's working for us. So you're going to see me sometimes angry. You're going to see me sometimes flippant and sarcastic. And this is part of my process of being a whole-bodied person. I am not just one person, one type of person. And this is our healing journey. Sometimes it's those men, sometimes it's forward the matriarchy, let's focus on the matriarchy. Sometimes it's forgiving the masculine, and all of those are under the same umbrella of joining forces, coming together, creating tribe, community, connection, making this moment matter. Nothing matters more than this moment. The fact that you are watching this right now means that you are in this moment with me. I cannot say thank you enough for rising to this occasion, because this moment is setting the foundation for a new human. A new earth is rising. With every ending, there is a new beginning. Losing my dog was completely heart-shattering. Heart-shattering. If you've lost somebody that you love, a pet, a child, a parent, a best friend, if you lost somebody that you've loved, then you know it feels like the end of a version of you that you will never meet again. That hurt doesn't go away. But what it does is it creates compost for the garden that you're growing, for this next version of yourself that you are nurturing, like a small, tiny, tender little sproutling. That's what we are right now. We are tiny, tender, sproutling human beings. We don't need fancy ceremonies or crystals. Really, what we need is slowing down and remembering you are good inside. You are a good person. Your partner, your child, your parent, the one that you are working to forgive, even these deranged people that are destroying lives, deep down, once upon a time, they were good people. They were small children. Something awful happened to them to make them do terrible things to the world. We are working here at this level in our small microcosms, in our homes, in our communities, to put aside the harm that has been done, not forget it, but to forgive it in the name of connection and coming together. I appreciate you being here. I love that you're taking this journey with me. I look forward to all of the phases of you and me as we do this not so simple task. It's not simple. But people ask me, do you love living in Tulum? I say, it's simple, but it's not easy. Just because it's simple does not mean it's easy. But what is the alternative is complicated, but comfortable. Maybe it's the comfortable thing to just say, F those guys, to just stay in rage and stay separate and to never look back, to turn your back and walk away. That might be the complicated but comfortable path, like staying in a comfortable luxury resort. Quite complicated. Hundreds of staff members, really big blueprints for a building that takes a lot of energy to run and a lot of moving parts. It's comfortable, but it's complicated. Whereas staying in like a rustic eco lodge or, a tent, it's simple, but it doesn't mean it's easy. Everything has an equal and opposite side and viewpoint, and no one is right and no one is wrong. But deep down, we're all human and we're all looking to be loved and cared for like we matter. You matter. I love you. We're here. We're doing it together. Thank you so much.